Hey there, I'm Bill from cruisehabit.com. If you've heard the song or maybe just been to certain airports, you may be familiar with Margaritaville. Now, Margaritaville runs multiple Jimmy Buffett themed resorts and restaurants across the globe. They feature tropical themes and a lot of nods to popular Jimmy Buffett songs like Cheeseburger in Paradise, 5 O'Clock Somewhere, and so on. Now, they're bringing this concept to the sea, not just resorts on land, with the launch of Margaritaville at sea. Yes, it's a new cruise line, but more than that, it's taking a popular resort experience on the water. And we're really excited because we're going to be on board for their very first cruise, their maiden voyage on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. That is April 30th. So, because of that, we wanted to learn a little bit more about the resorts and the new ship itself, the whole new experience. Conveniently, as part of this, there was a trade show in Miami, and Margaritaville at Sea invited us to their Hollywood resort to explore, learn, and enjoy a couple drinks. So today we're going to talk about what we learned and what we're looking forward to on Margaritaville at Sea. Before we get started, let's talk about why I'm doing this, why I'm doing this particular video and kind of what I'm looking for here. So, of course, I'm excited about Margaritaville at Sea on the 30th. It's a new experience at sea. It's a new ship to me. It's a new cruise line to me. All of those things are very exciting to, I think, most cruise lovers, right? But it wouldn't be fair to compare this ship and this experience to other cruises, right? They operate really short sailings, and they're bringing an experience that a lot of people know, Margaritaville, to the water, not trying to emulate what another cruise line's doing or even iterate upon that.
And we're taking some of the concepts, so you'll see things that are familiar on the ship that you would see in the resort here. So if you get a chance this evening to dine at Jwb here in the hotel, you will find that on the ship. The 5 O'Clock Somewhere bar, of course, will be on the ship.
I wanted to make sure that I got a little bit more context, get that tour, get that feel, understand what it's like to be at a Margaritaville resort. So let's talk about the Margaritaville Hollywood Resort. It's located in Hollywood Beach, Florida. That's between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, about halfway up. And I actually kind of grew up in this area, so it was fun to be in a familiar place, but to a resort I'd never been to. It opened in 2014, and they describe the feel, the vibe as casual luxe. I don't know. I look at labels like that. It still doesn't necessarily tell me what to expect, but it was casual and did seem comfortable. It didn't seem cheap or anything like that. The property is really bigger than I was expecting. There are 340 rooms along with 30,000 square feet of event space. So if you're looking for a place to have a wedding or a really big party on Hollywood Beach, they have plenty of space for you there. There's also, importantly, 8 restaurants and bars. That includes the 5 O'Clock Somewhere bar, Margaritaville restaurant and bar. And in there, actually, that was the most kind of classic Margaritaville looking place. If you've ever been to a Margaritaville restaurant, maybe in an airport or something, I will say this is different. This definitely seemed nicer than that, to be honest. But the theme would be familiar to you. And this is where they have a miniature version, in fact, of a plane. I learned this on our little tour that inspired Jimmy Buffett's song, Jamaica Mistaka. Essentially, the Jamaican authorities thought he was smuggling drugs on a plane. So there's a little plane in the restaurant. I thought it was neat. Now, this is a beach resort, so they have outdoor pools and areas that you can lay out in the sun. Plus, they have a flow rider. So anyone familiar with Royal Caribbean, if you like that surf simulator at sea, well, they actually have a surf simulator right there on the property over at the beach. There's also the License to Chill adults only pool area. I didn't get a chance to take a look at this actually, but it sounded really neat. And it's, I think, on the 10th floor. I keep wanting to say deck. On the 10th floor, facing the water, so you get some really nice views there, and that's just for adults. If you do want to head out to the beach, they've got beach service with chairs and umbrellas and bring a drink, stuff like that. There's also a little kind of an Airstream trailer looking thing that serves food and drinks right there on what they call the Broadwalk in Hollywood Beach. Back inside the resort, there's a Jwb Steakhouse. That's Jimmy Buffett, his middle name. I think probably William. Ironic that I'm not remembering right now. The Saint Somewhere Spa. There's a coffee shop, Land Shark Bar and Grill. That's actually out kind of by the pool area, but it's partially covered. And they do have a gift shop as well. Who doesn't have a gift shop? But I was surprised here to find that a lot of the merch in the gift shop, a lot of the clothing and stuff was nicer than I expected. In fact, I'll confess, this whole resort was a bit nicer than what I was expecting. Everything was very clean, extremely modern, but not at all pretentious. And if I'm honest with you, it seems like a place that I wouldn't mind going and trying out for a longer period of time some. But this tour did give us an idea in terms of the look, the feel, the sounds, the smells, all of those things, what we might, we'll find out, expect to see on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. That's their first ship. Before we continue, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're alerted when we post videos. It won't cost you a dime, but it would really help us out. Cruise Habit is a labor of love, and you'd be doing me a big favor. Now, about Margaritaville at Sea and the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, we only have a few renders because, and it's not because they're trying to be too secretive, it's because the ship hasn't been transformed yet. So this first ship, the Paradise, is actually a former Bahamas Paradise ship called the Grand Classica. It's a line that's been running 2-night sailings for a while out of South Florida, and they're still operating, in fact, up until just another week or two from now. After that, the ship's going to be refurbished and refitted in late April to transform her into Margaritaville at Sea. Now, I know this is going to change a lot of aesthetics on the ship. I don't know that they'll need to do a whole lot in terms of major ship refurbishment because she did have a dry dock not too long ago. So from everything I've seen, the ship already seems like it's in good shape, and now they're going to transform the look and feel of her for Margaritaville. She carries about 1,680 passengers along with just shy of 600 crew, and there are 658 staterooms. Now, because it's a somewhat older ship, might be in fine shape, you will find that there aren't as many stateroom types and the crazy over-the-top suites and stuff like that. Most of those rooms are interior or ocean view. There are a couple suites and rooms with verandas, though. On board, you'll find some familiar venues. We were just talking about Jwb Steakhouse, for example. They've got that on board. There's a Saint Somewhere Spa. Again, that's their own spa brand. From what I understand, it's actually not outsourced like a lot of cruise lines and resort properties do. They actually run it themselves. 5 o'clock Somewhere Bar and other features that are going to be similar to the resorts. I believe there's also an adult-only pool area, so we'll want to check that out, of course, as well. As mentioned, this is not a mammoth ship. You're not going to find ice rinks or over-the-top features that you find on cruise ships made for longer cruises. And that's, to me, that's fine. That's not what they're going for. This is about bringing that resort experience to the water rather than building a resort on the beach or anywhere, really. There are also going to be options for those who want to cruise to the Bahamas and stay there and then sail back later. I'm actually looking forward to learning a little bit more about this. I know they offer some excursions when the ship heads to Freeport that go to some local resorts. You can spend the day there, but they will have options so that you can sail over, spend maybe several days or even a week, and then cruise back on the same ship when you're done. So that's pretty neat. So talking about our plan for this particular cruise, that's I do want to cover that part. First, I do want to find out what you think about the resort and the cruise line. This is something, as you're hearing this, a lot of this is going to be new to you. It was new to us. The whole concept is brand new. So while we've been impressed so far, like I said, might have to plan a little staycation. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that the theming is too much? Maybe if you're not a big Margaritaville fan or a Jimmy Buffett fan, I should say. Not that I dislike Jimmy Buffett, but I'm not, as the fans call themselves, parrot heads. I wouldn't describe me. So I did find the resort was kind of like, it reminded me of Disney Cruise Line, in fact. Because yeah, it's great for Disney fans, but they don't beat you over the head with the Disney experience too much. It's a theme, but you're not, you don't feel saturated in it. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below if this is something that you think you'd like, either the resort or the ship so far. Now, on the ship, our awesome travel partners over at Touring Plans Travel are sending us off to board on April 30th. That's the very first, that's the maiden voyage of Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Always exciting to do a maiden voyage. We just did the maiden voyage for Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas. We're on for the Mermaiden voyage, Virgin Voyage's Scarlet Lady. We'll be back on that ship later. So maiden voyages are always exciting. The reveal, I love that. This is a 2-night sailing, like all of them, and we're going to be going from Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Usually, if you sail out of South Florida, Southeast Florida, you're sailing out of either Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale or Port Miami. This is going to be interesting. I actually thought this would be the first time I was sailing out of Palm Beach. Had a conversation with my father about that, and he corrected me. Apparently, I did when I was a kid. News to me. But this is out of Palm Beach, so a much smaller port. I'm hoping that means it's kind of a streamlined experience. And then going over to Grand Bahama Island, which is only about 90 miles away. We're actually going to be traveling also with our friend Jay from the Shiplife. Be sure to follow him. This is where in the video there's a card or a link somewhere. Links down below as well. And always exciting hanging out with him. So we'll all be on board experiencing this together. We want to see what this, not only what this experience, this 2-night cruise is like, but I want to find out who it's good for. Does it really feel like the resorts? Who might really enjoy this? I firmly believe that every cruise line has something that they do better than everyone else, and that every cruise line offers an experience that is right for someone, for some circumstance, for some vacation. So what does that look like here? Who's right? What is the right trip? What is the right crowd for this particular experience? Now, there are boarding requirements for this cruise, like any other cruise line operating in North America right now, and I think most of the world. All guests must be vaccinated, though interestingly, and I think this will make some people happy. I thought it was an interesting step, and I'm all for it. This seems reasonable to me. If you are not vaccinated, of course, if you're a young kid who can't be vaccinated, that's fine. But if you're unvaccinated, however, you recently recovered from COVID and you have documentation of recently recovering, and you have ample negative test results, they've got it all outlined on the site, or your travel agent can interpret that for you, then you are permitted to sail. Everyone, regardless of vaccination status, has to be tested. The type of test and the timeline vary depending on if you're vaccinated, if you're a kid, boosted, all those things. And we've seen some other cruise lines start to do that, differentiating those requirements a little bit. Carnival, actually, we're watching do that. So once we do that, we have all that documentation. I believe they're actually going to offer testing for some folks at the port just as an option. So that's nice. Once you have all that together and you have your passport or other documentation, you're board. And at that point on April 30th, we're going to find out what this is all about. So how do you find out what it's all about? Well, make sure you follow along. We're going to be sharing our experiences live on YouTube and probably over on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we're also going to be doing, instead of a daily live vlog like we do on other sailings, since this is a 2-nighter, we're actually going to do this as a vlog on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe here on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. I don't know, maybe somebody rips this video and copies it over to Twitch. I don't know how this... I'm not good at interneting. Of course, we'll have photos and more, along with moment by moment updates on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So just search for Cruise Habit on there, or you can check the social link down below that has links to all of our social content and more. We're also going to share information on cruisehabit.com. In fact, we've already got some information about Margaritaville up there, along with some of the renderings that you saw today. So check that out. If you want to cruise with us on this or any other cruise, we have posted our cruise schedule. We're going to keep that up to date on the site. In the main menu, just click on our cruises. We'll put that link below as well. We'd love to sail with you. And in fact, there will be a little bit, some extra gifts in it for you if you book and sail with us. So what do you think? I want to know if the resort and the ship seem like something you'd be interested in, and I'll definitely want to hear your feedback again once we are on board and experiencing it for ourselves. A big thanks to the folks at Margaritaville for giving us a tour while we were there, and thank you for watching. It really does mean the world to me. Keep following along and check the links below for more cruise news, tips, reviews, and tours. We look forward to talking ship with you again real soon.